Was my head wonky then? It's not the wonky head. It's the wonky camera. Why is the camera still so wonky? Down. There you go. Kind of. A bit. I was going to say a bit of sound.
Oh, there were 8 people there. Hello.
Hello. Hello, Finley baby. Become Salah.
7. Okay, we've lost a couple. Hi everyone. We'll just leave it a couple of minutes, just see if people are coming in. Hiya, we're doing very well, thank you. I hope you're doing well as well.
The light on, you're a bit distracted. Should I pull it blind then?
Yeah, you see how dark it gets if you do that.
Okay, no.
Oh, soft lad.
That's made it worse, hasn't it?
I think it's
Maybe
because you've
more.
still got that tiny little bit of the light.
Oh, there we go. That is probably better.
I'm a bit black.
Hi.
Get up. Take a shot with that. Shift.
Hi, Helen Rich. Hi, Kerry.
I'm a bear.
Come on.
Hi, Amy. Hi,
Oh, don't get the
Sarah.
stool.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Mum. Hi, Chris. Hope everybody's having an enjoyable Sunday.
What are the little things in the top fans?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Isn't it?
Are you coming in, Finn?
What have you brought with you, Baba? Oh, the stool.
He's coming to join us. I don't know how long he'll be with us for, because this is obviously Finn, so. You might need to get a cushion to sit on.
You need to grab it, dude. There you go. Okay.
Oh, hiya, Mark. Hiya, Jack. Oh, I love Jack. Oh, thanks, Henry. Oh, I'm going to leave Mark pick the chairs, to be fair.
Oh, the chairs. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yours is a bit weathered now, though. It's yeah, it is about how old your chair now? 6 years ago? 6,
Yeah.
7 years old? Something like that.
Gaming household, isn't it? I'm full of a house of boys, so, you know.
It's not bad.
It's not that bad.
Mm.
It's not that bad.
Mm. Anyway, it's lovely to see everybody. Well, I can't see you, but you know what I mean. It's lovely to hear from everybody here. And this is the first time we've ever done like a proper live here on YouTube like this, so we're still getting used to how this
We've
all...
been a live before.
Yeah, we did a little live, didn't we, when we were on holiday? So we have obviously asked everybody to send us in some questions. So what I thought was we'd kind of go through all those questions and the answers to those first, and then we can just chat with everybody. And if anybody's got anything that they want to ask, then they can drop it in the chat. So then, I suppose we better get started, haven't we?
Finn is being hidden by the messages.
What?
Oh, that's it. You're not missing much anyway. But...
Oh, you might need to move into.
no, it's more to do with the fact that he's. I don't know. We can't see the messages, can we? Shall I try and open it on mine? Hang on, I'm opening that down. See what you can see. Or can't see.
That one's orange. Ugh.
Orange.
Oh,
That's because you've been eating something like orange. What did you eat?
I ate my sweet from the presentation yesterday.
Ah, there we go. So I don't know whether anybody caught on our Instagram post yesterday. So the reason we've had to do this live today rather than yesterday is because Finley had his football presentation yesterday, didn't you, with your team? So you had a good day, didn't you? In fact, there were dirty stop outs. I ended up bringing Jacob back home about
We didn't even get back
7:30. Yeah, and these night owls didn't come back until 11:30.
Finley was on the beer, wasn't he?
Dirty stop out.
I had to drag him away from the bar.
Oh, yeah.
Although I did, to be fair, I did mistakenly give him my card a number of times to go, because he said he wanted something from the bar, so I just gave him my card to go and get it. I haven't checked my account at the minute. It might have £0 and 0 pence.
He bought all of his football friends Galaxy chocolate bars from behind the bar and J2Os.
Dad, can I have a J2O? Yeah, go on, mate, here you go, it's my card. And off he went and came back. No receipts, no nothing. I haven't checked yet.
I never asked for a receipt though.
Oh, there we go.
It's like, do I even ask for one?
Just in case.
So, hi everyone coming in. Yeah, I know, Amy. It was very brave in giving him the card.
Brave, I can't decide if it's brave or stupid.
Boy.
Ah, you was alright.
Both, Finn. So then, let's crack on with these questions that we got first.
What?
Before we start, is there any other questions people didn't quite get round to asking and any other, wherever it went to? Just stick them in the chat and we'll add them on to the end. Go on, Sarah. You can read them.
Okay, I can read them. Okay, so we'd had a couple of people comment on our vlog last week about the house when we were talking about the fact that if we leave the house empty, we were going to kind of end up having loads of like issues with council tax and stuff. And so somebody had said about whether a family member could move in and then we could cover the council tax rate, or whether Isabel would maybe move in when she came back from America. And yeah, Isabel would very happily move in and look after the house for us. In fact, Isabel's response was, you could just give me the house. You're not going to need it. You're going to be in America. I know, yeah. So we don't have any issues with somebody potentially being in the house. Yeah.
I think council tax wise, we're still going to pay council
Yeah,
tax.
we still have to pay.
Because Isabel wouldn't be on her own.
No,
So.
She'd come and live here with a boyfriend if anything, and we'd be footing the bill then for full council tax, and probably footing the bill for the internet and the electric and the gas at that point in time, because as I said, she wants it as a gift.
And they're paying us, not paying the tax, they're paying us.
I know.
Who's paying us? What, Isabel's going to pay us to live here?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Isabel.
Isabel doesn't want to pay us to live here, she just wants to stay here for free.
So yeah, we don't quite know what we're going to do on that front. So we'd also had a question about whether we consider maybe renting it out as like an Airbnb rather than renting it out. Bless you. Renting it out. And we discussed it only for the purposes of asking this question, really, because we just don't think we're in the right place for somebody to want, for it to really have much interest Airbnb wise.
No, I don't think so. There's not many Airbnbs in this area.
No.
I don't think it's somewhere people really want to come to for
Holidays.
Yeah,
Weekends away.
visiting of some sort.
Yeah.
So it's not really worth doing, I don't think. We could look at it, but I don't. But more so for neighbours, we kind of get on with some of the neighbours. So
I don't think they'd appreciate
sort of nomads turning up every week or 2 weeks. Yeah, I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want that. So. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Tony. So then we'd had a very interesting question, which did make us go and check. So someone had said about whether we checked our tax obligations before leaving, and they'd mentioned like a P85 or self-assessment. And to be honest, that wasn't something we'd thought about. And so did a bit of a Google, didn't you?
Yeah. So yeah, I've been talking to our UK accountants about us going and sort of tax treaties and back and forths, and there's going to be an essence of UK business continues to operate because we've still got customers here, so we're going to continue doing that, and then there's going to be stuff that we do over there. So there's that. Yeah, the tax treaties are going to be a big part of how we do things. So it's something called split year self-assessments. So as long as you file a self-assessment in the tax year, which would be April to April 25 to 26, then you're, it gets rid of all of the issues with the P85, which is your non-domicile status and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know enough about it. I've got a rough idea, but I'm going to speak to the accountants. No, I'm going to rephrase that. I'm going to speak to an accountant here, because I don't think our accountant's quite switched on, or doesn't
not to
quite
that
know.
kind of thing. I suppose it's not something they come across every day, is it really? But they are part of the bigger franchise, so hopefully they'll have somebody that they can. You want to sit on my lap so you can be seen? No, you're just sitting there.
You're just sitting there to watch. You're just sitting there to watch watch the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
It's
it's something we're looking into.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a big issue, really.
No, and we were kind of hoping to have been able to have given you just a bit more of an update on what the finance advisor said, but they were supposed to have come Thursday and then have called and had to rearrange. So we're not going to be able to have that meeting with them until this Thursday, isn't it? Yeah.
This week, yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of like going to wait for next week. So that was all of the hosty financy questions we got.
Let's go. Then we can go on to the not really the fun bit.
We'll get to the fun bits. We'll work our way through, I promise. Okay, so the next questions were about work.
Okay.
But I suppose before we go there, we have had one quick question in the chat. Somebody that is a new subscriber, so they've been able to join the chat, and I've asked about the visa that we're going on. So just very quickly to update that for anybody new, we're going out on an EB1A visa, which is an extraordinary ability visa, which kind of comes in to answer some of the questions that we've been asked about the work situation. So
the first question from Gary was, who will you be working for?
Who's Gary?
I don't know, one of the followers. Is it a startup, and what is your extraordinary ability? For anybody who's been watching this long enough will know that I'm a legend, so that's my extraordinary ability.
Sometimes.
Yeah, so I guess in some senses it is a startup. I'm going to set up a business with a UK entity, and we've got a business that we're setting up over there. And then I'm currently working already, I've been since last year through our UK entity, working with some US investors that are in the process of buying manufacturing companies all across the States. So I'm going to be sort of senior leadership type position for them, helping them do things like due diligence on early stages, and then streamlining them to manufacturing operations as a manufacturing expert. I'll use that term loosely.
it's not used the L word again yet.
I don't know about a legend. Manufacturing legend, is that what you're
I was expecting that was what you were going to
say. I was just going to go with manufacturing expert in inverted commas. So it's in like fields like modern technology, 21st century technologies, AI, robots, cobots, industrial 3D printing, advanced manufacturing, and all those sorts of things. So yeah, helping American companies develop new processes for making weird and wonderful parts. That's a rough overview.
Yes. So the next question then we got was whether we'll both be working when we move to Florida, and what is it we both do? So
that's from Angela.
Well, you kind of answered yours.
Yeah. Try to work as little as possible. Maybe just to get paid for like a day a week or something.
I mean, his ultimate goal job in Florida is to be a monorail driver at some point. Yeah, that is his.
I want to be a marine biologist.
You do, don't you, Finn? That's Finn's ultimate goal.
So the plan is just to nail it for the next 10 or 15 years of, trying to. Okay, T. Trying to stack up some money, and then I'm going to go and drive the monorail.
That's what he wants to do.
Amazing job.
Okay, would you rather be in an aquarium? What you would not would that? Would you rather be in a shark cage with 10 great white sharks surrounding you, or would you rather be in a shark cage with 100 black tips around you?
What's that got to do with
the black tips? Because the black tips aren't likely to be around a shark cage, because they tend to be more like reef sharks, so they'll be down the bottom. So definitely the reef sharks.
Thanks for that question. So anyway, get back on track. So we both be working when you move to Florida, and what do you both do? So I'll just kind of mention what I do. I kind of work from home at the moment, sort of part-time-ish around the kids and stuff. And so, there might be scope for me to carry on doing what I do for the company that I do it for here out there, and it's kind of all like digitally marketing-y content creation stuff. So that's kind of what I do, but it's more also in the manufacturing sector because that's my background as well. So
rather than consumer-based products. It's all more kind of industrial type content creation, if that makes sense. And then I guess if Mark's setting up this new business, I suppose he's going to want somebody to help him create stuff. So there may be scope to do that too, maybe. So we'll see. But my priority is going to be these little monkeys when we first get there. Make sure they're settled and happy, and I'm there to take them to school and pick them up. And yeah. No, what, you're going to get yourself to and from school yourself, are you?
I'm going to walk to school.
I'm going to go-kart.
Okay. So that kind of answers that one.
Yeah. So basically, we will be needing it. Anything that we'll be doing, we're going to need Sam to continue doing what she does here for us over there, and vice versa. So yes, that you will be needed. It won't be how to ransom to do it, but there'll be the option for you to be able to do it. I think that's the key.
Yeah, I want to minimise as much time as possible because, like, I've got places that I want to be in the day.
You have already turned around and said because of the nature of what you do, you will be sat in Magic Kingdom drinking Starbucks with a castle behind you.
That is my plan. That is going to be my office. That is the plan. I can do it remotely. I will, bring the laptop and sit and have a coffee. And, you know, if any of our fellow Florida people out there want to come meet me for coffee while I just sit there and create, you know, I'll be there. You know where to find me. Parked up outside Plaza Ice Cream with the castle in the background. That's where I'll be.
I'll be sweating in some office somewhere, some factory somewhere.
There you will.
Next question was from Rob. This one's quite a funny one, actually. Does Mark need any staff in Florida with a yam accent to remind him of home? So my only response to that is, I've worked with many people from Black Country, Wolverhampton way. And they all just sound like a flock of geese in their offices when you're working there. Everyone all right?
Seal.
All like a seal.
So, Amy, I agree. Yeah, I think Magic Kingdom is the perfect office. To be honest, it can be any of the Disney parks. To be fair, would make the perfect office.
Hollywood Studios.
And Claire, exactly what you've said there. Seeing Katie and Amy, we can all be out blogging together. You know, it'd be amazing. Be amazing. Can you imagine, girls, the content creation ideas we can come up for manufacturing in a Disney park?
They what?
It'll be great. It'll be great.
Who's gonna make the fun?
You what?
Who's gonna make the fun?
Who's gonna make the fun?
Yeah.
What do you mean who's going to make the fun?
Is this because you need to be there to make the fun? Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah.
It's boring when I'm not here.
This is true. Right, so go on. Yeah. I've lost where we were.
Resident tours of Florida for all of you visitors. I can also do that too, Catherine. Yes. That sounds like a good plan. Katie, I agree with you. I think they should just hire us. I mean, look at us. We're the biggest advocates whatsoever for, British people coming to Florida. So.
Chris, you just yeah, agree, Chris. Exactly. Yeah, 100%. The worldwide income things can be a bit of a headache. It helps a little bit with the tax treaties, but certainly with the selling of the house, so it's something I've been looking into, which is why we've been having these the reviewing and all the other bits and pieces, the research we've been looking into, because it basically after 2 years, was it 2 years? I said it to you, it was?
Yeah.
2 years. You when you sell your property, you end up being subjected to capital gains on your worldwide income in the US. So if you've not lived in the UK for more than 2 of the last 5 years, or I'm dumbing it down a bit, it's a bit more convoluted than this. You pay a proportion of your worldwide income then, which is essentially if you sell your house, you've got to pay capital gains on the earned income, which is quite a bit.
To what you've said, the biggest problem that we've got is trying to find somebody that understands both sides, and that's the biggest problem that we've found, is trying to find someone. So if anybody out there is dealing with this and knows somebody that kind of understands taxation in the UK and in the US and how they interplay with one another, we'd be really grateful for some recommendations, to be honest.
Me.
You're the last person I'm going to be coming to. You didn't even get receipts for card transactions yesterday. Yeah. Yeah, Chris. Yeah, 100%. Still a major consideration for us as well, especially as we've still got a UK company that's going. So we need to work out what's the most cost-effective way of us doing things. So if you happen to come across anybody who understands both sides,
yeah, please
by all means let us know. And
Yeah.
we'll do the same if we find someone that we think
we can share that information.
Yeah, pretty savvy. We'll share the data.
Yeah. Also, I agree with Sarah. I think you make the perfect rep for Salt Shack, so that could also be.
You could just walk in Salt
I'm
Shack.
just going to buy shares.
You
Shares in
could
Salt Shack. I
just
swear
walk in Salt Shack.
we've driven half their traffic in the last 6 months. I'm sure we haven't.
Okay, so our next little section of questions then was tied up with family. And our first question in this area was, if we weren't moving to Florida, where else would you like to live? Right then, Finley, because we've not asked you. So,
How?
do you want to actually put your face up so people can see you? There we go.
Wait. No.
Or do you want to think about it while Mummy and Daddy answer?
Think about it.
Okay. Right. Do you want to go first?
Yeah. So I said Canada. Obviously, you haven't got the warmth in Canada. Well, certain areas have still have summers in Canada, and so.
Sorry, we've got the dogs in here and Brewer's growling at a gnat outside that might have flapped its wings.
Yeah, so I said Canada. I said that I thought Florida. Yeah. Come on, Brian. I said that Canada, I think, would be a good place to raise a family. It seems to be like a really good alternative place. Never been there. Never really researched it. It's always just something that's just another place that's always sat in the back of my mind, thinking it might be a good place to go to. So that's sort of one.
Mark gave the sensible answer.
Because I'm sensible.
This is true. So taking sensible out of the equation.
Yeah.
Somewhere sunny with a tropical climate.
Caribbean.
That was kind of what I said. Yeah.
Parts of the Caribbean.
I know you do like the idea of that as well. So yeah, I'm all for a tropical climate, not dry heat. So not like, yeah, like Spain. I like the tropical climate, like Florida and the Caribbean and stuff. I do. Although we've yet to try the Indian Ocean or go like Mauritius or Maldives or anything like that. So maybe basically an island
somewhere warm
where it's crystal blue waters. Yeah. No, Chris has said Australia. And does anybody else watch that program that used to be on? What was that program? Immigration one with the lady that used to do that talent program before it turned into X Factor. Anyway, it's all about British people that want to move to America, and they go out there and they test drive life.
America or Australia?
Australia, even. And I remember that was one of the first things that we talked about, emigrating and going somewhere different, when we watched that program. When you were off with paternity leave with Jacob.
So what it was?
Yeah. And they were comparing life out there, and they got to go and see the jobs and how much money they could earn, and then they'd go and look around houses, and then they'd give them the little wanted down under. Yes, that's the one. That's the one.
Well done, Katie.
What's that?
And that was one of the first. But it's the insects in Australia. I know Florida is supposed to be Jurassic Park.
No. Australia is way worse. It's basically the movie Jurassic World: The Rebirth. That's what Australia is.
So is Florida.
Jurassic World. No.
Florida's basically Jumanji.
No, that's Then Australia.
Everything's trying to eat you or kill you.
Exact same thing with Australia.
Just worse, they're bigger out there.
Yeah.
New Zealand. I think if it was going in that direction, I think I'd say New Zealand.
But yeah, so somewhere that is warmer and sunnier than here, and I don't know whether everybody's been watching. Like lots of people also with whether it be on Instagram or TikTok or on YouTube, where they've been sharing the things that have been going on for 4th of July, and just the sense of community that there seems to be in Florida and the areas that I've been seeing all these things on. Like, there's nothing like that around here. And so I think just somewhere that's also got that kind of community feel, and it brings families together. Yeah.
Good question.
Yeah.
So the next one is, when mum and dad were children, what was their favourite things to do? I'm a geek.
Right.
Still am, kind of. I don't have much time to geek anymore. But
Shall I tell you how much of a geek he is? So we've got these little lights that we were trying to find a way to kind of put in the room to brighten the room and try to make the webcam work a little bit better. And so he got his little tape measure out, measured the thing at the back of the screen.
Tape measure?
Oh no, sorry, it wasn't a tape measure. It was a
measure?
vernier.
Very near.
Very near. A vernier out. And he was measuring things at the back of the screen, and then designed a 3D printed mount for me to put these lights on, and then aesthetic printing on the 3D printer. However, unfortunately,
Printers don't work as fast as I do.
no, so it's not been finished in time. So that's how much of a geek he is. But yeah, he's tried to find a way to hold the lights. But then, as I said, I'm the practical mom in the situation. Just got to work with whatever I can find in the cupboard, and the lights are mounted.
So you mishmashed it.
I smashed it, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I've always been into sort of gaming. Like I said, I don't really have time anymore, but that's what I did when I was a kid. And always built computers. So all of the PCs in our house have all been built on me.
Are they? Even mine.
You haven't got one yet.
Exactly, so you haven't built all of them.
You haven't got one, have you?
You're not the right age yet. What was the age you've got to be?
I don't know, 10.
So you're not quite there yet.
Well, half a year.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
You'll have Daddy's first American-built computer. I mean,
well,
that's what you'll have.
That's what Mum likes to do. That's what Dad enjoys doing anyway.
Gaming as well. You're a bit of a gamer.
That's what I mean. I don't really get time anymore.
Where says, I'm just doing my work. We walk in, he's playing Diablo.
So I fight with him because I'm telling you now, it's exactly what
he does.
I don't.
No, he does.
I do it nice. What? Because I work that much, that I'm always sat at my desk, so it always looks like I'm playing games. What about you, Mum?
Me, I suppose I was a bit of a nerd the other way. Really. I've always, well, not so much since the kids have been born. I don't think I've picked up a book since the kids were born. But I was.
Yeah, and yes, Amy, I have been outed. Yes. Yes. I may be the man of the house, but I don't wear the trousers, that's for sure. I'm right at the bottom of the pecking order.
The kids do. The kids are the boss.
Mum's first. She just pretends, and then the kids, then the dogs. Anyway.
So me, I was a bit of a bookworm and a lifelong Disney fan. So it was all about movies. Loved reading, and having a younger sister, we were super duper close. And so like I just used to play with her really. I mean, we did have a bit of a NES when they first came out, so we were always playing duck. Yeah, you know, Nintendo Entertainment System when they first came out. The first one. I'll take the ball off her. Take the ball off her. So you know, first iterations of Super Mario, Duck Hunt, that kind of thing.
What?
So that was me. Finley, what are your favourite things to do as being as you're here?
Wait, what?
What are your favourite things to do?
Football.
You are a kid, so you know, what are your favourite things to do?
Game,
Football.
eat, football, repeat.
There we go.
Well,
Sounds like.
watch YouTube.
Yeah. He actually was asking us if we don't like Florida, whether we can move to Texas, because he wants to go and find Preston and Unspeakable.
And other YouTubers, maybe Mr. Beast.
Texas is a good place as well. Texas is the ultimate alternative place. I'm not sure about the tornadoes.
Oh, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
You changed your mind about that now.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, we watched some tornadoes in Texas too.
Doesn't matter. I still.
Yeah, BC ones, but that's so.
It's not worse than the tornado alley, is it?
It's not far.
Well, it's not that bad, is it? It's not going to live in tornado alley.
Right, where do we get to? We got to...
So hold on, before we go to the next question. Somebody had said if we could be in control of the process, what date would you like to be in Florida? That we'd have been there already if we'd have been in control.
Christmas last year.
Well, yeah, I think we'd have said we were
5 years
hoping
ago.
to have been there.
Yeah.
No. We were, our original thought process when we first started all of this was that we would have finished
I can't see the chat in the corner.
finished the kids like in school early July, and then we'd have been going out to the beginning of July. That's when we ideally wanted to be there, but it never quite transpired. But I think if we were now, middle of September is what our aim is now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's realistic.
Hopefully.
No, we know.
That's realistic.
Who do you think will start sounding American first when you relocate?
Me.
But
Yeah.
yeah, he's pretty much been American since he started talking.
Yeah, he's never called sweet sweets. They've always been called candy.
Garbage.
He doesn't say recycling truck or a bin truck or a bin lorry or anything like that we do. It's a garbage truck.
Yeah.
He did, for a period of time, say water. Water. So definitely Finn. 100% Finn.
Oh, thank you. Hopefully you will stick around with us when we get there and watch Florida vlogs, everybody. Have we any more news this week on the interview process, etc.? So I'll tell you what we'll do. We've got a little mini section on visas in a bit, so we'll update that bit in there. I'll just finish off this last family stuff, because then we've got a next section which was life in the US, and that one kind of falls into that. So somebody had asked about how did the boys get their names?
Jelly bean peanut.
Jelly bean peanut.
Well, not nicknames.
No.
No, well,
Your actual names. Not your actual names.
So Jacob came originally from, so my sister used to be a childminder, and she had the cutest little boy. When I used to pop in on my way from work or something, went and see her, and his name was Jakey, and he was super cute. And so I like the fact he was Jakey, and when he was running around and saying his names, it was very, very cute. And so I always had that name on my list. And we had Finley on the list right at the beginning. We did. And
Jacob came out, you just felt
he was never a Finley. We always had visions of Finley being this cool dude surfer with the, blonde curly hair and whatnot. And although Jacob has ended up with the curly hair, he ended up being called Jacob. And we always expected to shorten it to Jake or Jakey, and it's just never happened. He has always been Jacob.
Or Shasha.
No, or Broski.
Or Broski.
Bruh. Dude.
Jay.
Dude.
Well, look, Shasha came from this one when he was little, because he couldn't say Jacob, so they used to call him Shasha. So that kind of has just stuck, which he rolls his eyes at. And then what have you started calling him? You call him Jay, don't you?
Jay.
And he absolutely hates it. He absolutely hates it.
I can't be bothered to say Jacob. It takes too long.
So Finley then came out, and first of all, he tried to escape very early.
26 weeks.
No, I would have been born.
I mean, Jacob came early. Jacob was a little preemie, and he came at 34 weeks. So, And then this one tried to do a runner at 26, but they managed to keep you in. So he was.
And then you overstayed.
And then you overstayed. Look, you had to be evicted. So he was always a bit of a whirlwind, and he did look like a Finley. So that was how he became Finley, or Finn, or the Finster. Also Broski.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Doofus.
And on the basis that you love sharks and you love the sea, having a name like Finn seems actually quite appropriate.
Yeah,
it, really?
exactly.
So that was answering that question. And then somebody had asked about.
A couple of people asked about.
Yeah, Jacob and his autism, and had asked when he was diagnosed and what the early signs were. Now, to be fair, as I mentioned earlier, my sister was a childminder. So when I first went back to work, Jacob went to her for a little bit. And as I said, he was premature as well. So we were always expecting there to be potentially a little bit of developmental delay because of him being a preemie. And as he came to move on to his transition to nursery school, when she did the transition, she did notice some delays with speech and stuff like that. So obviously that all went on into nursery. So we went into nursery, and then as we were getting to the point of him finishing nursery and going into reception, it was then that the teachers pulled us to one side and said, look, please don't be worried. But we think you need to go to the GP and see about a referral for Jacob. And then that's when they brought up the autism word.
That was 4. It was 4.
4. He was 4 then. So that's kind of like when we first made the first approaches. But for anybody out there that knows anything about the SEND system here in the UK, you will know that, well, not so much SEND because that's education, isn't it? Just anything tied up with additional needs in the UK right now, it is a mess, an absolute mess. So he saw a consultant. We then got a follow-up appointment, and then it was a new consultant, so we started the process again. They disappeared and we saw another consultant. So by the time we got to the point where he actually had an assessment, he got his actual diagnosis just before his 8th birthday. And compared to what that process is like now, that's fast. Because it's taking people 7 years and stuff like that these days to get people. It is an absolute mess.
It's not good, but there's a lot of things behind that. Yesterday, day before, I took him to have his myopia glasses checkup.
Yeah.
And the optician that was doing his glasses checkup told me that whilst it's only something we've done recently, we have availability for recently in the UK in the last few years, the US has had it for the last 10 years. So it's just unbelievable that it took so long to get it. That's not going to change anytime soon, is it? So
yeah, that's just that with Jacob. Yeah. So yeah, we were fortunate with Jacob. It was identified right at the beginning. So whilst we didn't get the diagnosis and that sort of thing, the school were very aware and were able to support him throughout his whole school journey, which I think has been a massive benefit for him, because he's always been understood from that perspective, if that makes sense. And I know there are still a lot of kids out there that go undiagnosed. These things don't get picked up and they're just very misunderstood at school. So we've been fortunate in that regard.
Yeah. And then the next question then was, has he ever struggled with exclusion or making friends? So not going into too many details.
Obviously we want to respect Jacob's privacy.
Yeah.
A lot here.
No, is the short answer. He's got really good friends. He's got friends that he's carried over from little schools into big schools and everything outside. And
he's made some new connections with new people. So he I mean, that's not to say he doesn't struggle, and he won't have his struggles when we obviously look at moving, but he's doing a fab job of managing the transition from primary school to high school and finding his own way to get through it. So we couldn't be prouder of him.
There you go, Finn, you can answer this one. So, Dad and Son's favourite games and game recommendations.
Where?
No, Vin, you only play like 3.
So what are your top games?
So we need games I used to play.
Not used to play. What are you playing now, and what are the exciting ones? What are your recommendations for games?
Roblox,
Roblox,
Fortnite, FIFA,
FIFA.
Minecraft.
Yeah.
What you said, Rocket League earlier?
Yeah,
I
Rocket
asked you.
League and
So,
yeah. And then I used to play games ages ago.
so we all used to play Fortnite together as a family. All of us. Like,
We
all of
did.
us
That
were
was it. If you can't beat it, join them situation. So we all literally had Fortnite accounts and used to have Fortnite Friday. That's what
Friday.
we used to do.
Fortnite Friday.
But then it got to the point where the kids didn't want to play Fortnite anymore. So
I
me
can't
and
join
Marky just
Fortnite.
played together.
No, we got to a point where they didn't want to play with us.
Yeah,
They'd
that's
play-
what I
they'd-
mean, yeah.
They'd play one match and their friends would come online and go, I don't want to play with you anymore.
They'd leave
You're
us
bored.
and go and join their friends. And then my sister joined in. So it used to be my Marky and my sister play Fortnite on Fortnite Fridays.
Fortnite Friday.
Yeah, that's what it used to be.
We haven't done it for a long time now.
No, it's been a long time now.
Dad's favourite games are Call of Duty, I think, is probably the one thing I've always gone to.
Diablo.
Diablo, yeah. I've played Diablo since I was a kid.
And then you have that silly little game that you've always played online that you used to like from when you were a kid.
Yeah, I haven't got that anymore.
No one knows.
You play Roblox as well.
And like think
I'll play
like that
Roblox. I'll play
Final
Roblox
Fantasy type things and
Yeah.
you know wizardy witchcrafty type things where they have to cast spells.
Wizard Witchcrafty. Is that how it goes?
It
Wizard
does, yeah.
Witchcrafty? Oh, okay. But nowadays it's more about, because I haven't got time to sit there playing for a long time, so it's more about just being able to like Fortnite with the kids, because I can play a match and then turn it off again.
Yeah, you
Call
haven't
of
got time
Duty.
for quests.
I haven't got time.
Daddy plays random games basically.
Random games to you, yes.
Like on Roblox, he plays just random, except a couple games, I guess.
Jacob just plays Roblox, Fortnite, same games as you, really. Minecraft.
Well, except Rocket League.
Yeah.
And
You've got lots of little games within Roblox that you like to play.
Yes.
But
Like
I
making
still don't understand.
Like
How do you
making
not
roller coasters.
understand?
No, you do. He likes the roller coaster one.
I mean, yeah, he does. He's big on
Go a
theme
garden
park builder
park.
thing, aren't you? You
Go
love
a
that one.
garden theme park I go to. And if you guys ask what's Grow Garden, how do you not know it's literally in the name? It's Grow Garden.
You can see he's got his dad's sense of humour.
Yeah.
Grow.
Sarcasm. And Uno. Don't forget Uno.
Oh yeah,
And he just said
Uno, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not really computer games, but yeah, we all play Uno.
Well,
The horrible,
Yeah.
like, extreme version where you get made to pick up 1,000 cards if you do something wrong.
basically.
Okay, so that's gaming. So on to life in the US.
Huh?
So we got asked the question, do you have a US bank account with a credit card or ready to build up your credit score? Was it difficult to get and what are the costs for a bank account? That was from Anna. In short, Anna, no to any of the above. We don't have one, so we're going to be coming over and starting from scratch. My understanding is it's very, very difficult to get an American or US bank account without a social security number. So we just figured we'll just wait until we get there. We've got bank accounts at the moment that we can use from here. That will mean we can just spend money and it won't cost us anything, any fees or charges. So yeah, we'll just do that for the time being until till the SSNs have arrived. I don't think we can do it that long. What are you most looking forward to about living in Florida? From Chris.
And then actually Nikki's also put pretty much exactly the same question in the chat. So that's a
Okay.
good time to answer that one.
Yep. So Finn, you can go first, mate. What are you most looking forward to about living in Florida? Churros.
Yeah. Going on bigger roller coasters.
Yeah, because you can get to SeaWorld. And,
Yeah.
Oh, straight away. I've got to grow a bit first.
hopefully you'll be tall enough. You have
Anything else you're looking forward to?
Anna Marie Island.
You want to? Oh yeah. Do you want to tell everybody what you want to do at Anna Marie Island?
Do I have to?
Yes.
Picking up shark teeth.
He wants to go actually on a hunt for a megalodon too.
Because I said for over 50,000.
We're not selling it.
I know we're not selling it, but
If you find one, you can keep it and have it in your bedroom. But
So if anybody else knows of any really good beaches along the Florida coast for going hunting for shark teeth, either drop it in the comments or in the chat, or drop us a message on Instagram or something, because Finley's on the hunt for shark teeth. Preferably not by encountering one and pulling one out.
We're getting bit by one. No.
Yeah.
What
Ah,
are you most looking forward to?
Me. I don't know. It's crazy because that place has just felt like home from the second that we started going there in 2014. And the people are what makes this place, the UK, home. Not the UK, but Florida feels like home. So there's a part of me that's just really looking forward to being in the place that feels like home, whilst I'm going to then want to transplant every single person that's here out there somehow. I think
There's nothing like getting off the plane, getting off the monorail from into Terminal B, walking out and seeing that horrible carpet, and walking outside in the Florida humidity just smashes you in the face in the middle of August when we normally go over.
yeah,
Feels like home every time.
it does.
Steamed up sunglasses.
It does. There's like a sigh of relief when we arrive, and you can't explain that to anybody. You kind of have to feel it. And I think if there's anybody out there that's got a place in the world that just feels like that to them, you'll know what I'm talking about. Doesn't have to be Florida. Some people just have that anyway. It can even be somewhere different to where you live in the UK. You just have a place that when you get there, you just kind of go,
Home.
yeah.
Yeah. I have the same. However, my things I'm most looking forward to. Sorry, Catherine. Salt Jack.
Yeah.
Salt Jack. I'm
Every
excited
day.
about Salt Jack Saturdays.
Steak Fridays.
Steak Sundays.
No, steak Sundays.
Chick-fil-A Fridays.
And Starbucks Mondays.
Something tells me we're going to need a mini gym in the house.
Or just
This
a
road.
really good stockpile of like a Zempic or Manjaro or something like that.
Definitely. Or otherwise, I'm
just
going
a
round to
little minute.
Katie's because obviously Jason's got his little gym in the garage. So worst case, Katie, you can start selling memberships for the gym.
Yeah, you got to try it, Helen. Got to go. Salt Jack is the future.
Do you know what? I'm going to be gutted because everybody's going to be like, what on earth are they raving about that place? It's so disappointing. Katie, I can be your gym buddy. We can do it together.
Yeah.
I need motivation. However, otherwise, I'm all good with just getting steps in around Disney. That is also another thing. I think that's another thing you say about things you're looking forward to.
Just been able to walk
Like
in the parks.
going for a walk and getting steps in is walking around the world in Epcot. I mean,
Yeah.
yes.
Katie can do cocktails and treadmill.
That sounds
That's
like
like
the
your reward.
perfect. That is like the perfect.
Drink on the treadmill.
Not for you, Kim. Not for you.
Don't need to. I can just put sweets in front of me.
Mocktails.
Just put sweets in front of me.
Okay. Next question was weirdest food item you've seen in the US.
Well, not really seen, but eaten. Dipping a donut in tomato ketchup.
You did what now?
Dipping a donut in ketchup.
Yeah, but that's not because it was in America. That's just because that was something you tried to do.
Weirdo. Weirdest food.
Tastes nice, actually.
Gator bites.
Oh,
That
yeah.
is the weirdest thing I've ever seen on a menu.
Gator bites.
Yeah. I mean, talk about, you know, what was that? What's the word? Oh God, I've got brain farting. I can't think what was it.
What was you trying to say? What was
Basically, talk about like inciting an alligator to want to eat a human. You cook them and put them on a menu. I mean, really?
It wasn't the weirdest. I fully expected it, so it's not a weird thing I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen any really weird things on any menus.
Not really, no.
I don't think we've been anywhere. We've never been anywhere that exotic or glamorous to find something that
No.
weird on the menus. Mainly because we've got two kids that are fussy, so we try not to venture to those stranger places. But if you found any weird stuff in any weird restaurants, let me know. I'm just curious.
You're gonna go and try. You can go and do that by yourself.
I didn't say I'm going to try. I'm just curious.
Mark versus weird food. It could be like a little, you
I
know,
know we can put
sideline vlog.
Side YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And then, Oh, okay. So yeah, we had a comment on one of the vlogs yesterday that raised a bit of an interesting point. A point rather than a question, more of a statement than a question. It was all tied up with like the cost of living, lifestyle experiences, like the work-life balance, disposable income, and so on. Yeah, I don't think it's any secret that it's expensive to live in Florida. Amy, Katie, anybody else here, I think you'll all be testament to the fact that it's not certainly not cheap out there, which we're fully aware of. We've done a lot of research. I think Katie you put a video out a few months back on some of your costs, which we sort of noted and made.
The rip-off guy with the shower glass door.
Rip-off guy with a shower.
Yeah.
I was showering outside when it rains. I'm not having no shower fitted for $18,000.
Oh, that's how we can do it. We don't have to waste any more water. We can just have a shower in the
rain. So we've done that research, but we've also done all the research with, like, we've got some other friends that live out there, so we've talked to them and got some ideas off those guys and spoke to people. So we've got a reasonably good idea, and I think quite a savvy idea of what it's going to cost us. And we should be all right. I think we'll be okay.
Oh, it's not so much that. I think it's more that the point that they were making was they'd love to go out there and live in Florida, but they have quite a nice lifestyle here in the UK. Both of them only work 4 days a week. They are at a point where they've got a relatively decent outcome. They bought their house early. They live in the north where house prices are cheaper. So in terms of having disposable income to enjoy life, they feel in a really nice, comfortable position. And they were saying they're totally afraid, knowing how expensive it is out in Florida, that the idea of like giving up their nice lifestyle here to go out there and potentially be skint, and would that completely take the shine off going and living in the place that they love, that they can't live the lifestyle out there that they want. And I just think that it's just funny because that's something that just we've been talking about when we've been looking at our budgeting. And I mean, you can probably tell we're a bit geeky and done a lot of research. And you know, I do occasionally like to watch a few podcasts with, like, you know, Diary of the CEO with Stephen Bartlett. Love him or hate him, I get that. Some people don't go there. And there was an interesting one that it got on there with the guy that was on Shark Tank.
Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah.
His name is, yeah.
And so they were talking about on there about how the cost of your house should only ever take up 50%.
A third.
The house was 50% of the
50-30-20 rule.
Yeah, the 50-30-20 rule, about 50% being the cost of your basic needs to run your house, 30% on things, the luxury want items that you have, and then 20% should go into savings. And I was like, that's probably a really sensible thing to make sure when you're figuring out your cost planning for living out in Florida, because a big part of the lifestyle out there is having enough money to do all those things you want to do, and just being able to afford to do the bare bills.
Right. It's accepting whether or not you're happy to compromise.
Yeah, and what you're prepared to compromise on. I think that's
it's one of them trade-offs. You don't want to be moving all that way to have to compromise.
Yeah.
So we've kind of worked on the basis of this is the set in stone of where we want to be, and if we can't afford to do it, then we don't.
And so Marky Challenge is on. So that was an interesting one. And then onto the visa. Somebody again it was right at the start of the chat of here. They commented before the chat started, and they go under a pseudonym, so I don't know what their actual name is, but they were kind of like saying that rather than a question, they just felt that we deserved a medal because it's like a feat of endurance trying to go through the visa process.
Also, it's very, very tough.
And I think
It is very time consuming. I know Katie and Jason, your experience of getting your EB2 was significantly longer than ours, as has been. Yeah, it is, and it's the way to put it. It's the lack of unknown and control. That's what it is. It's a control thing. You have zero control out of anything in the process. You can kind of pay to have things pushed through and expedited, and if you've got, you can do certain things to make things happen a bit faster, but it's essentially there's nothing you can do once you've got past the first bit, which is filing all of your documentation and sending it to your lawyer or just sending it into USCIS. once it gets there, that's it. It's out of your hands. No, you can't do anything about it. It's just in the hand of the gods, as it were. So yeah, it is tedious. And every day you wake up hoping you've got an email to tell you that your interview's come in or the next stage has been signed off, and when it doesn't happen, that's another. Or especially when you get to Fridays. Fridays are the worst day because you know for a fact you're not getting anything over the weekend because they don't work weekends.
Oh, and somebody had asked in the chat as well about have we got any updates on where we're at? Katie had asked as well. I think Claire had asked as well. Yeah, short answer is no, not yet.
Well, yes and no. We've for those of you that aren't already aware, I had an expedite request approved by the NBC and the London Embassy. Expedite request on the back of some of the work stuff that I'm going to be doing out there. I've got to get there sooner rather than later. So September is the time we really need to be there, because that's when some of the stuff I'm working on is going to start to grow arms and legs. So I was able to get the expedite request approved. Now it was marked as ready. So anybody knows anything about SEAC, which is one of the US government websites, it kind of that updates every time something changes for your visa process at the NBC. So following the expedite approval, it was not Friday just gone, the Friday before, the system updated to show that it was ready, which means that the embassy have now got all of the case files, they've got all the case information, they've got everything they need to get started. But again, it doesn't tell you anything. I even tried to call the embassy to try and get an understanding of how quickly expedite requests get processed. And after pressing for about 12 times, speaking to somebody and telling them what I was interested in doing, she then put me through to an automated service that told me nothing. So it's very, very difficult to get information out of anybody. However, this week I have called the visa medicals, who are also based in London. They pretty much, I think they do all of the visa medicals for immigrant visas. And obviously they deal with people and speak to people all day, every day. And she said, don't hold us to this, but typically if you've had an expedite request approved, you'll hear something within 2 weeks from the point in which it goes ready. And then they typically try and expedite you. So my interview should be within 2 to 3 weeks from there. So again, I'm not going to hold us a ransom over it, but that would assume sometime next week we're going to get the interview letter. And then the interview then should be within 2 to 3 weeks of there, which should see us at the beginning of August.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just depends on how on the ball they are with it. But obviously, it's been a holiday weekend, and they
had a half day Thursday and all day Friday off, so they've lost a day and a half this week.
So it may be not by the end of next week; it might be the early part of the following week if we take into account that they've been off for a day and a half as well. So
now the only thing that may, a bit of a caveat. Last year, the end of August, they had issued all of the available EB1 visas for that use year.
Yeah.
And then that doesn't then get renewed until October. So if we don't get that in place before the end of October, early September time, it could be that we miss the opportunity.
Yeah, because they only have a certain allocation every year.
Yeah.
So we're just hoping.
Given the fact that they've not been scheduling interviews for EB1 visas, I don't think that's going to be the case.
Oh, it might be the case they've reached it already. Who knows?
Who knows? We'll find out anyway. So I'm not saying it. The bulletin hasn't updated, and there's nothing new that shows that. So
no, but that's the one thing. We're so glad this expedite thing got approved though, because you did refresh that IV tool.
Yeah,
this
so
week,
even as of July, they're still doing February.
And it's still saying February, so they've not moved forward at all on the EB visa types.
In 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll say, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Potentially 3, because it was on February when we first went on in May. So it would have been 3 months. They've not moved forward. So watch this space. Hopefully, we'll have more to report next week on that one. I just noticed in the chat that Chris had put about the fact that he'd noticed on Rialto house prices in Orlando were being reduced. And we follow a really interesting guy, Reventure Consulting. He's got a YouTube channel, and I mean, don't get me wrong, he's trying to sell his app, but we have bought like a month of his app to have a look at the data on there, and it's very data driven. And when we went out to our realtor and we were trying to find a company that we wanted to deal with, what we liked so much about the realtor that we chose, and I don't know if you saw when we were in Orlando, I'm sure we flagged up where they were. That's the POSAC group. That everything that they do is very data driven and data orientated, and we kind of really like that about them. And we, we made sure that when we were talking to our realtor, she knew that we knew we'd done lots of research, we knew a lot, we were very familiar with the market that we wanted to look at, and they appreciated that from us. But the one thing that we found out very much of the locality of where we're looking, and what she's confirmed to us, is that prices in Florida are on a massive downward trend, according to the data that's out there at the moment. It's very much a buyer's market. So you are right, Chris, in what you're saying about the prices going down. And even in some parts of Orlando, that is also true. But the one thing that appears very apparent is that it's also very community based as well, and city based. So it's not even as much as saying, Orlando, all of Orlando is going, prices are coming down and there's lots of reductions and bargains to be had, because it's not. There are small little pockets that are still doing well, or they're holding their prices and there's not a lot of change. So you kind of need to be aware of the fact that just because at the moment there's a downward trend in Florida and there's a bit of a downward trend in some parts of Orlando, that doesn't apply to all of Orlando or all of Greater Orlando.
But I noticed just on that, somebody asked a question earlier about are we going to rent or buy when we first go? We're going to rent. So for the first 12 months, we're going to rent. Look at that. Look, scratch on my leg. Is quite a, see more on the camera.
Yeah, as I said, they didn't come back till 11:30 last night, so goodness knows what they were all up to.
I don't know.
Finley came home with also one on his knee as well, so I don't know what the two of you were doing.
What were we doing, Finn? Obviously, I was drinking beer, you weren't. So you should have known what was going on. We're going to rent when we first go. Mainly because getting mortgages and stuff isn't necessarily all that easy out there. So we want to try and utilise a 12-month period to try and build up a bit of credit rating. What else? Oh yeah, and just making sure that we're happy living there. It's going to be different living there versus vacationing. So we want to give it 12 months and make sure that everybody's happy with the move. Holiday. Oh, hang on, there's another bit there. Holidaying in Florida.
Yeah, so we'd had somebody asked us a question, and I'm not sure if they're on. So I'm not sure if you're on, Dave. Any tips for going up to Florida for the first time with two small children aged 2 and 5? And I would say that kind of ties up with the time that we went when we got married. They're about the same ages that Jacob and Finn were. Finn was a little bit younger than that. But that's very similar ages. And I mean, you've seen from our vlogs and stuff like that we've been going to Florida and taking the kids since they were little. And I would say that every stage that we've taken them has been different. So I know it's such an expensive holiday, and so it's very easy to say as somebody that's been there every year pretty much since 2014. But taking them young is so much fun. But
it's still
you have to be. Oh no, that's what I'm saying. It's fun at every different age. But taking that, it's different at every different age. As a parent, you get to experience that through all of your phases of growing up, and that's really, really nice to see. But it's about being realistic of what your expectations are. If they are that young, you aren't going to get them to go rope drop to park close. It's just unrealistic. You'll just be screaming at one another.
You can, but they'll be miserable.
They'll be miserable. You'll be miserable, and you'll be arguing, and there'll be tears and tantrums. And so that's just not the way to do it with kids that young. I think if you're trying to be realistic about what's in the parks for kids that young as well. So, like it or like it not, Disney is the best park. The Disney parks are the best parks for kids that age. because they can go on stuff, they can experience stuff. There's shows, there's music, there's characters. And whilst the Universal parks, was more specifically Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios, because Epic's a bit different now, the little kiddie areas in those were just never really for kids that young. So all you're doing with a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old is shoving them in a pushchair, walking round, standing in a queue, going in child swap, exchanging the kids out while you get to do both rides, and then just walking on to the next one. So there's not a lot for them when they're really, really young like that. But whereas at Disney, it's also, they can be out the pushchair, they can be toddling around, there's bubbles, there's characters, there's shows. And so for me at that age, I would say focus on Disney. That would be kind of like my biggest thing.
But cap the time that you're there. I know it feels like a bit of a waste, but it's the best way to do it.
And be realistic. You know, I mean, now we only do mornings and half days for a different reason with Jacob, but I would always say that just do it in 3-4 hour stints tops and then take a break. You know, it doesn't have to be you have to leave the Disney bubble if you're staying out and you've driven in for the day. Go on the monorail and go to one of the hotels, go and sit in the lobby, get a drink, and just chill and have a bit of downtime, and then go back and do something else, but break your day up. And just remember, you're all there to be there as a family together, having lots of fun, and dragging the kids around when they're hot and tired isn't fun.
And then you can go like 10 years later when they're both in the 20s, and then they can bowl a beer.
Yeah. They've got to be 21 at least, and get a pushchair. Even though one's
when they're 20?
No, for the kids, even though one of them is 5, get a double pushchair and put both of them in a pushchair. Because then when they're sleeping, because they'll both sleep in the day because it'll be so hot, you'll be able to just have a wander around and take it in yourselves.
Yeah, definitely.
Or just bring a pushchair when they're 8, because that's what I need.
Been a few more.
To be fair, I think Jacob was in a pushchair till he was about 7.
There's pain.
Okay, so that was all of the in advance questions that we had.
There's been a few in there.
Let's go into the chat. So hi to anybody that's joined halfway through, because I've not been catching up and saying hello to everybody as they've been joining in. Oh, Mark, look, your little thing on your knee is tiny. Look, yeah, I know. He needs to man up, doesn't he? Really?
What, your little cut?
You know, your little cut on your knee. Yeah.
Thanks. You know what I mean? I just wanted a bit of sympathy. Yeah.
Yes, Joe, if we are there in September, October, obviously everybody will know. Message us and we will do, like, you know, people want to come and say hi. We will meet up for coffees in parks and things. We're always good with that, or even out and about.
Have we sold the house or have we decided to keep it?
We change our mind every day.
No, it's not. Man up, Mark. No, we haven't decided either way at the minute. We've got a couple of people that are still interested. I think sensibly, it's gonna be sensible to sell, because then we haven't got all the issues with the stuff that we've talked about, which is capital gains and all that sort of stuff. It's our only primary residence. We'll sell it, and there's nothing to be paid on it. So sensibly, selling it is the best option. But as I said earlier, we're going to rent in Florida for 12 months to make sure everybody's happy with being there, and so on and so forth. So keeping it for 12 months just adds a bit of security. So if we don't like it there, we can come back, and we just sort of almost get back into the swing of life here. I don't think that's going to be a problem anyway. So no, the short answer is no. We haven't sold it, and still haven't decided if we want to keep it.
I think at the moment, the selling of the house is going to take longer than if things go the way we think they're going to go with the visa interview. If what the visa people says right, the house will still be for sale when we're at the point where we can potentially go. Potentially,
but if the people that are currently showing interest, if they buy it, even if it's sold by the time we're due to go, it won't have completed. So we're going to have to wait for it to complete, and that might be done after the effect. So at some point I might have to come back and just, I don't know, actually, I don't know if I need to. If we've taken everything out and emptied everything, I don't think we need to do it. So we'll see. We've got people here that can look after it. Nanny can do it.
I mean, I think the biggest thing for us these days is as soon as we start getting this visa appointment date, we've we've got that start line in the sand, and that's our biggest dilemma at the moment, because we were actually talking about Mickey's Not So Scary earlier. And Mark was like, "What, you really want to go?" I was like, "Yeah, I really want to go." And he was like, "Well, should," and I was like, "But we, you know, when we went in 23, we didn't book it because we weren't going to do it. And as soon as we got there, we wished we'd booked it. And we were there for 3 weeks thinking, oh, it'll be all right. We'll be able to pick something up for later in the holiday. And it had sold out. So I was like, I'm desperate to go to Mickey's Not So Scary, but we can't book it because we don't know when we're going to be there. But we don't want it to sell out before we've been able to buy tickets. So it's like we just need this visa in to be obtained to actually be able to make any decisions.
So hopefully that'll be this week.
Yeah. Hello to Gary in St Cloud. Hope you're well.
Which areas of Orlando would you prefer to live in and why? Very simply, Horizon West, Windermere, those sorts of areas, predominantly for schooling, because they have got some of the better rated schools. That's the really sultry, plain version.
And we didn't even know where to begin with our search, and so that's where we started. I know that's going to make things cost us an absolute fortune in comparison, because I know where we're looking can be double the price of some of the other places. And it's not something that we haven't thought about a lot about what we do.
I think a lot of it.
And I think that's another reason.
We'll get there and try it and see.
That's the reason for renting, because the areas that we're looking at are very expensive, and we know exactly the same house that we're looking at is half the price somewhere else. Literally half the price for exactly the same house. It's got the same name, everything, same bill, same room, same square foot, and it's just half the price. And it's trying to figure out how important the criteria are that we've said. We just don't know.
Until we get there, we don't know.
No.
Will school be elementary and middle school, or is it high school? No, yeah, it will be.
Yeah.
Elementary and middle. Jacob, if I'm right in thinking, any Americans out there, correct me if I'm wrong, but high school starts at 14. So Jacob won't be doing that until next year.
Yeah, I've thought about it, that effectively when he'd start his GCSEs in year 10 is when he would start high school there.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah. So, elementary and middle.
Yeah, then this little monkey's going to elementary school, aren't you?
In year 5.
Where were we?
Well, it won't be year 5 out there, dude. That's the thing. They have different grades out there.
What grade are we in?
Is it grade 4? Are they like one behind? So if anybody's on there that knows, Finley would be going into year 5 here in the UK. Would that be grade 4 in the US?
So we keep coming down. Have you just decided to ship all of your furniture now? Yes, most of it. There was certain stuff that we'll replace anyway, but yeah, most of it we're going to ship, just because furniture in America is horrendously expensive, or certainly in certain places it is, and the furniture we've got is quite expensive furniture, so we're kind of going to just ship everything up and send it all. So that's the plan currently. Joe, I'm with you. Just sell. You won't want to come back, I'm sure. I'll be all right. I know I'm nomadic. I'm happy to move anywhere, so it's not an issue. It's more.
It's more me, isn't it?
I think you more than anything.
Do you be happy to move to Antarctica then?
As long as
it's too cold there.
As long as I've got a big coat, I'll be all right. A pair of shorts and a big coat.
So we've established that Marky is the ultimate risk taker. He will just, whereas he's kind of like influenced me to take more risks than what I would have done before we got together. But I still keep one foot firmly anchored to the ground.
I'm
like the fellow out of up.
So I'm like this
I'm strapped to like 400 balloons.
Do we need a safety net? Don't we need a safety net? That's kind of like the thing about you.
No, you're right.
Angela, would you have to sell your house to go? We don't know, in all honesty.
No, we know we've got some, yeah, potentially. Don't know. They've got loads of things going on at the minute that might mean we don't have to. So that's what we're hoping for. But again, that's all one of these. That's the issue at the moment. We're not only waiting for all the visa stuff to happen. We've got loads of work stuff that we're working on, which might change what we're doing and how we do things. So yeah, it's just waiting. A waiting game for everybody.
Oh, thanks, Carly. Yes, high school is 9th grade, year 10. Yeah.
I'm sure. I think I just saw that Katie was leaving. See you, Katie.
Oh, bye, Katie.
So
Thanks for coming in to watch
Hopefully we haven't
and chat. Will do. I'll let you know as soon as it comes. Bye.
And then, so hang on. So we've got, yes, grade 4.
Yeah.
What aspects of life in the UK do you think you'll miss the most profoundly, and how do you plan to cope with that absence? Alcohol.
Stupid.
That is it.
How do you plan to cope with the absence? Just get drunk. It's fine. You forget about it. Then.
Oh.
Who's joining?
Do you miss what I was trying to say? Though?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what's going on there.
I won't really miss anything, to be honest. I don't think. A few things, family more than anything else.
I think, yeah, it's the people more than anything, and
The people we see
the most
a lot
often,
of as well. Yeah.
It's the people that are kind of interwoven in your day-to-day life that all of a sudden won't be there. You know, those people that you see sporadically, we'll still see them sporadically, either when we come back or if they come out to us. It's more the people that, like you say, are interwoven into our daily existence here, really.
Yeah, but now we're in the days of modern technology. It's that you don't get the touchy feel, but
No.
like Claire just said, you get FaceTime, you've got
Yes.
WhatsApp video, you've got Facebook Messenger. You can communicate with people so easily nowadays. It's not like you can't see people. I would imagine people moving 20, 30 years ago when this technology didn't exist, that would have been horrendous. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't say horrendous, but it would have been a very different
Yeah.
scenario. So Finn's gonna proper football.
To be honest, I don't think it really matters.
What are you going to miss? Is there anything you're going to miss from here when we go? You're going to miss your friends. I know you say that, don't you?
But there's a very strong chance, by the sounds of it, they're all coming to see us anyway.
Yeah, we were at the football presentation yesterday. A load of your football mates reckon they're all coming over, so it might be your football team on tour time, maybe.
Just to point out that the sponsor's not paying for it. No.
Is there anything you can think of that you're going to miss?
Galaxy chocolate.
Yeah.
Your mum said you're going to make sure I've got a bedroom for your mother-in-law. Yeah, Lynn's welcome anytime. She'll be around in a minute, beating me.
She will. Actually, you'll hear the door go in a minute and the dogs will start barking.
Yes. Well, although to be fair, I'm a bit dubious about this whole allowing people to come and stay with us.
Well,
we're always going to have someone.
The trouble is, we said we'd need a 4-bedroom house, so we got at least one spare room. By the sounds of things, we're going to need a 5 or a 6-bedroom house because everybody's planning on coming, which is great.
I'm thinking we just buy a trailer park on it.
I think Daddy's coming.
Should we just get a trailer park, dude? Just have loads of trailers that everyone can stay in. But like that, what is it? Just living
the dream.
Living the dream, yeah.
Yeah.
Kissing me.
Sunshine Park, yeah. I don't know whether anybody else out there has watched that one that used to be on Sky years ago.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Just not buying it off that dodgy lawyer. What else was we? If anything, what would you miss in the UK? Weather, sports. Okay, we're just a bit of that. Weather, definitely not.
Maybe.
Sports. The only sport we really watch and follow is football anyway, and we can still do that from there. You can still continue doing your football and stuff.
The biggest issue that we've got at the moment is which team do you support, Finley?
Liverpool. Well, kind of like Miami as well, but
no, I know. But Liverpool are his favourite UK team, and when I was at school and you used to like the top tier teams, you were always called a glory hunter, but it's genuinely not that reason. My family is from Scouse. My little nan is a Scouser. and Old Swan. That's where she was, around that area. And so Liverpool has been our family's football team for years. There was a bit of division, a few of them, because my granddad was an Aston Villa fan. So, half of them went Aston Villa way, half of them went Scouse way, and then my uncle just went completely on an outlier and supported Wolves. So, and then my dad is also a Liverpool fan. So Finley is following the family's footsteps and he's red through and through. And we have been so desperately trying to get him to a Liverpool football match before we leave. And obviously the season finished and they were, won the Premiership. So that just meant trying to get tickets for any of the games in the second half of last season was nigh on impossible. And literally the only way that we found we could get him to see a match was to pay for hospitality. Because you can't just buy a random ticket to go and see them. They're sold out all the time. And we were members of Liverpool Club to try to be able to get in tickets, but we missed the ticket drops. So once they drop those tickets, that's it, it's gone and done. So it was really, really hard. And so we have said we think we're going to be here for the first couple of games of the season. And so we're going to try
and do hospitality.
And do the hospitality route just so we can get him to see his team play before we leave. Because that's our big, and obviously, and I think it is a tragedy what has happened this week. 100% a tragedy. Yeah. And that is also going to make getting tickets for that first match of the season terribly difficult, because I imagine there will be some kind of
probably
honor, memorial to him on that first game of the season. And so but I would love to be able to get him to go and watch his team play before we go.
So what else? Will you adopt a USA team? Well, Finn's already got an interest in Inter Miami. I don't think I can afford the tickets for Inter Miami, so I might be standing outside in the parking lot and just cheering them on from there.
I don't even know
we might try and see if we can get him to see a game. You'd love to see Messi play, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we'll go into that. And then I have actually been looking at Orlando City, and you can get some really, really good season tickets with them, even like hospitality season tickets for $1,000 for the year. Ridiculous.
But it also includes like
drinks, food, you get specific seats,
specific
and stuff.
Parking and stuff. So that's.
So I'm gonna take him to a few games and see if we like it first, and then we'll see what we do from there.
So that's probably the sports thing, isn't it?
Yeah. From your research, which other neighbourhoods stand out to you as offering the best balance of affordability, convenience, and overall quality of life? Lake Nona was the one.
Yeah, Lake Nona. We looked at Lake Nona.
I think there's quite a few people that are headed out that way. But Amy and Mark, have you in Lake Nona, aren't you, that way? From what I can remember.
Yeah.
Is that the medical district one?
Yes.
Yeah. So Lake Nona, St Cloud.
There's massive loads of development going on in St Cloud now as well, which is just on a bit further south than Lake Nona.
Yeah. I think Celebration's quite nice, but it's just really expensive for what it is.
Oh no, Joe, you need to get there. You need to get Dennis over there, because I know we've talked before. Jacob needs a tennis coach, and I feel that it needs to be Dennis.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Amy is. Yeah, Lake Nona, and that's supposed to be quite a good spot.
It's funny you say, Joe, about the fact that Liverpool doing in America. They were in America last year. That's where they did their off-season games. But obviously, because the Club World Cup's there this year, I think a lot of people have avoided going to America this year because that's been there. But in terms of other neighbourhoods, where else have we looked? I think because we focused a lot of our search around schools and schooling, we were looking at very much the A-rated schools that were sort of like between 7 and 10 on some of the other rating platforms and stuff like that. That's what drove us to choose areas. And then we have the added challenge of trying to find
elementary and
high-rated
and
schools, where you've got an elementary, a middle, and a high that all have overlapping school zones, so that when you're in a house, you can go into any one of those schools. And that's been the biggest challenge. And that was the one thing about Lake Nona when we were looking, we couldn't find all of the schools that married up to get a house in one place. So that was one of the challenges that we found. So that's kind of what drove us to look at the more Horizon West, Winter Garden, Windermere area, was because you can, across those 3 areas, you can get all 3 schools covered by one house.
Yeah, we have considered that as well, Joe. Private school. Obviously, there's a cost to that. So we've looked at, was it Windermere Prep?
Well, that was one of the most expensive ones we looked at. There was a few that we looked at that were a bit cheap. There was like a private one where you could do an online school, which was a lot cheaper. But then we were worried about the kids socialising and making friends if we did online school. And it would be very easy for them to go, oh yeah, we want to do online school. But that just also, it might be the best way. I don't know yet. We feel the best thing to do is for them to try going to school first.
Yeah, so they can create friendship
Yeah.
groups and stuff. Yeah. Private schools are cheaper than the UK, Joe. Yeah, especially as they now charge you VAT. Yeah, scandalously expensive. I think I missed a few bit as we went up. To that one.
Oh, the baseball.
Yeah. What do you plan to take with you when you move? UK chocolate, tea bags.
If Jacob had a suitcase full of Wheatos, that would be the thing Jacob would take.
Just Wheatos.
Because we tried this holiday to find some substitutes for Wheatos.
Those, whatever those ones.
No, he had chocolate Cheerios, but he said they were rubbish with milk on, and he would only eat them as a snack, dry.
Not milk.
I know.
Are you watching like Gator Bites?
So yeah, Wheatos are definitely something. Tea bags.
We don't really drink tea.
We don't really drink a lot of tea these days. I flipped over to coffee because we were going to move to America. You struggle to get tea bags out there. But then I think I've got a bit of a caffeine thing going on, so I'm trying to detox from coffee at the moment. So I've just been drinking peppermint tea, and I think that's a pretty standard thing I can get anywhere, so that's fine.
So I think we're good there. And coffee is my thing, so I'm
no,
with coffee.
Cadbury's chocolate is an issue because Jacob did also try Cadbury's chocolate while we were out there, the American version, and he said it was rubbish in comparison. So Jacob's suitcase is going to be full of Wheatos and Cadbury's chocolate.
The rest of us just
we're happy to kind of give it a whirl and just see how we get on.
Orlando City play Washington DC. Yeah, we're looking forward to that. I think Phil will love it.
Yeah.
Joe said that her husband is a UEFA B licensed
tennis coach. I know. So if there's anybody else here that needs tennis, we need to.
It could do that. It could be Finn's new team coach.
It could. Oh, okay. Well, that works then.
Amy says, you can hear the planes in Lake Nona. I think I'm pretty sure.
Chris had said that he was worried about being close to
one of your vlogs recently, actually, Amy. You could hear the planes coming over in one of the videos you did.
Oh yeah. Somebody had asked, what do you think your daily routine will look like compared to the UK? Like more outside time. I think that is the biggest thing that we're hoping for more than anything, is to have a better. At the moment, our routine here is I get up. Generally go for a walk on the treadmill because it is raining, or I manage to get out and go for a walk. Get back, get the kids ready for school, get the kids off to school. We then work from home, so we're stuck in the 4 walls of the house for the day, pick the kids up, and then we just vegetate in the house. Not necessarily being lazy and doing anything, but either working late because we've got nothing else to do, or we take Finn football training or something.
Yeah, it's just designed for more outside, isn't it?
So we're hoping that we'll have a better life balance, if you know what I mean, because we'll have more desire to want to go out.
I don't know about you, but I'm spending most of my time at Amy and Mark's house. They keep cooking steak and burgers out.
I know, yeah.
That's where I'm going. Barbecue food every day. Oh, the fact they're aviation geeks. Should I show my little toy?
Oh God, here we go.
This is for aviation geeks.
So this is for Mark and Amy. Mark's got a 3D printer, so he finds lots of random things to 3D print. As you can see, we've got our little Epcot globe behind us, and that is his aero engine.
And it spins.
And he can buy an automated motor for it, attach it, and so it will automatically spin.
And it's even got a thing that I can throw smoke out the back of it, so it looks like it's actually generating. Doesn't spin fast enough. We could possibly use this just to move us over there. We've got to spin fast enough. We could drag us all over in a container. No.
So yeah, I mean, you can see behind there as well. We've got like 3D printed Lego Darth Vaders and stuff. We've got stuff everywhere.
And the Epcot ball. And the Epcot ball.
Yeah, and the Epcot ball. Oh, okay, Amy, have a fab time at Disney Springs. And yes, we will look forward to hearing all about that key lime pie dessert. Mark is all about the key lime pie stuff.
What key lime pie dessert?
I sent a load to Amy, and there was also a milkshake as well that's got to be tried.
What? We need to go there.
I know. What family traditions and routines will you keep when you move? Well, the Mark and the boys have got these new routines of Chick-fil-A Friday, Salt Shack Saturday, and Steak Sunday that they're apparently implementing.
Obviously.
That's ones that they want to do.
We're going to be getting the annual passes for all the parks, certainly the first year. And the universal passes we're going to get are the ones that give you the express passes after 4 p.m. So I think probably what we'll end up doing is a couple of nights a week. It's only early days when we first get there. We'll probably make use of those and taking the little ones to universal parks whilst they're still interested in it. I'm doing that. Traditions from here.
It's going to be difficult because some of our traditions involve people. So this is going to sound a bit bonkers, but so as you've seen, like my mom and my dad and my stepmom. So my parents separated when we were kids.
See you, Chris.
And they shared custody of us. So we had access days with my dad on a Tuesday and a Thursday and weekends and stuff. So, but the funny thing about that is that even now as adults, my dad still comes to see us on a Tuesday and a Thursday. On what were originally his access nights when we were kids. And so they come, and then Mom's interwoven her own routine with coming to see us as well on her days. So I think what we're going to end up doing to start with is that on our set days when we would normally have a visit from somebody, we will do a video call around the same times so that we can maintain that contact. So that's definitely like a tradition and a routine that we will keep up so that we can, still see and speak to everybody as often as we do now. So I think that's one thing. The Boxing Day thing, I'm not quite sure how we're going to get around yet, because we'd always go out for Boxing Day.
Somebody's asked the question now about what we're going to do at Christmas. Are we going to stay there or come here? And my thought process is we'll alternate it.
Yeah.
So 1 year we stay there, 1 year we come back here.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do.
But I think because we're going to be so close to going out there this year, because it's we don't get out there until middle of September, end of September. I think we're going to have to do Christmas there this year. Yeah. And then alternate it to come back over here next year, maybe. Yeah. I think that's what we'll probably look to do where Christmas is concerned. Have I missed anything? I know he's very pleased with his engine thing. I know, but commenting about your engine.
It's amazing. That's why.
I know.
I think we touched on that, don't we, about the sale of the home?
Yeah. So we've still got, just going back to answer that question, we've got a couple of people that had expressed an interest. We've got one of them that have kind of got a tentative offer on on the table, but you know, they're still waiting to sell their house, so they can't formalise that offer yet. But as far as we're aware, they're still interested. So it's not technically not sold yet, but we have interested parties. So that's where the house is at the moment.
Mm-hmm. And I think we've answered everybody's questions. I think we've got there.
I think so. If we missed anything anybody wanted to know, do you want to drop it in the chat now? Or if anybody just wants to talk about anything.
So, long and short is we're close.
Still very excited about going.
Very excited, and we're very close. We're this far away.
I know.
I think that once that interview's done and we've signed off, it's going to make life a lot easier.
I mean, I
Because we
feel
just
if
know
we
what's
can get
happening.
out there for what we're hoping for, like the
Middle of
middle to end of September, then we'll get to enjoy Halloween and we'll get to enjoy all of the festivities of Christmas. That's kind of one of the things that I'm looking forward to. That's one of the things I'm really looking forward to. Somebody asked about like all the American things. Somebody asked earlier about what's an American thing that you're going to do when you first get there. And that's going to be like go nuts decorating for Halloween. And then go nuts decorating for Christmas, because they celebrate every holiday. And it's not done, you know, with a skeleton on the door and a pumpkin in the window so kids come and trick or treat. I'm talking big displays. I mean, I don't know if anybody saw a few years ago, Costco, I was getting all of the emails, and they had a headless horseman thing for outside your house that you could put up. I did show it you. I did. It
No,
was
you
like,
did show me, but I don't recall ever agreeing to put a headless horseman in your front yard.
no, I know, but we can't do it here. We can't do it here. But out there, yes, yes. Out there, though, everybody goes mad for it, and I can't wait to just go Disney mad on Halloween and Christmas.
Is that when I'm going to be Disney poor? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, we're going to need a budget just for Halloween and Christmas decorations. Separate one.
What we do for the hairstyles before you move, we'll just move out. The people that are going to be moving the furniture, they've got the facility to be able to store it for us. So worst case, we'll go and stay in an Airbnb or stay in a hotel that allows us to take dogs for a couple of weeks, because I think that's probably realistic timing.
Yeah. Oh, we'll be on the same continent then, Carly, if we're there for your birthday.
I suspect you'll be hosting UK friends and family as well. Yes, correct, Cara. I'm pretty sure we will.
Oh no, Mum, she's on here. We are super grateful as well. Mum's put on here about how thankful to everybody that's connected with us, and it's the longest live she's ever seen. No, I've definitely been on Katie's longer. I think somebody else had put that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we are so grateful to everybody that is like following along with us and is interested and has been super supportive to what we're doing. Because I can't lie, it was really, really tough when it just fell off a cliff. Everything was moving super fast and it was all going, and we got this plan and we were going, and then the house sale fell through, and then everything stopped with the visa, and that was a real low point in the roller coaster of doing the getting there.
Yeah, just getting nothing.
Just getting nothing. It was like you hit a brick wall all of a sudden, and you just don't know how to get past it. And I think a part of keeping everybody updated and, you know, chatting with everybody about what we're doing has been a way of helping to get kind of through that and stay focused on it and not let it get you down too much.
To be fair, we put this channel together to help other people as well. So you will get to experience, those that are interested or those that are potentially going through the same process or about to start on it, you get an idea of the trials and tribulations that come with it.
Yeah. Yeah. As I think it is a real... I think somebody, like I said, somebody had said earlier about like needing a medal to get through it, because it really is. It's not as easy as what you would think it should be.
No, you're right, Cara. Yeah, nail biters. Yeah, that's probably a good way to put it.
Yeah. Because
you never know. You genuinely never know what's coming.
No. And yeah, I'm definitely with you on a decorating competition. Relocate to the Sunshine State, definitely. And I'm hoping you get your visa interview soon too.
Your mum said.
Yes, I know. The first visitor will definitely be Mum.
It will be.
Yes, it will be. Well, she may be doggy sitting for the first couple of weeks while we go out and get out there and get settled, because at the moment we think our plan is going to be the 4 of us go out, because we've got to go out there and we've got to cross the line with our little brown envelopes.
Yeah, across the border.
Across the border and get in.
Yep.
Then we need to find somewhere like either an Airbnb, or we have said about using our DVC and having 2 weeks just staying in Disney and seeing if we can find a rental in those 2 weeks rather than taking on an Airbnb, because we just don't know how long we're going to need one for.
No.
And we don't want to keep picking up and moving when you're inevitably going to be taking 10 suitcases with you. So we were thinking if we could get, use our points to do a fortnight at Disney, we'll be close enough to the area to try to go and find a rental, and then if we can find a rental, get that nailed and bottomed out, and then be settled in there, and then Mum will come out as Mark flies back to get the dogs, kind of thing. That's what we were thinking.
It's going to be fun. Thanks, Helen.
Yes, thanks, Helen. See you soon.
Yeah, I think we've done. We've answered all the questions.
Yes.
I think it's maybe time to wrap it up, because we've done an hour and 41 minutes.
This is
It's
true.
pretty good going, that.
It is.
All of these people have got lives. Some in Florida.
I know.
We've got things to do.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you so much for everybody that's come on and talked with us, asked questions, and chatted with us about everything. We love, sharing this with you all, and we're really grateful, aren't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, thank you. So we're going to clear off.
Yeah, I've got ironing to do now. It's Sunday evening.
How exciting.
So
How exciting.
have a lovely rest of your Sunday evening, everybody, and we'll be back next week, hopefully with a blog telling you that we've got our visa interview and we've got our medicals booked, and we know when we're going to London.
Hopefully this week.
Hopefully, that's what I mean.
Hopefully
So by
week.
next week's vlog, hopefully next Saturday, we'll be telling you all of that good information. So till then.
Thank you very much, everybody, and we'll see you on the next vlog.
Yeah.